Hello, Cancers, and welcome to this, your March 1st through March 15th reading and predictions. For those of you who are new here, thank you so much for trusting and clicking on this video. And for those of you who are returning, thank you so much for continuing to support my channel. If you haven't already done so, please consider hitting that subscribe button. If you take a quick look at my current subscriber level, you will notice I am this close to reaching my first level of monetization. But not only do I need a few more subscribers, I also need the watch hours. So if you wouldn't mind doing me the favor of actually watching the video all the way through until the end, allow the whole video to play, please. Especially because at the very end of this video, I do have a feature where I have a deck of cards that is specifically made for the purposes of answering your yes, no questions. Questions that are burning and you're going, do I go this way? Do I go that way? How am I going to resolve this question? I will pull a card for you at the very end of this video. So, like I said, please help me out and help me to get monetized. I have been putting these videos out for every single zodiac sign for over 2 years now, and I'd really love to finally at least make a couple of bucks for my work. All right. So Cancer's last reading that I did for you covering the time frame from February 15th through to February 29th. I had a couple of technical issues. I had a microphone that turned off partway through, but then I realized it hadn't turned off, so there was a glitch in the middle of your video. So I do apologize. I am still learning despite having almost 2 years under my belt of doing this video thing. So the last reading that I did for you, Cancer, you had the Hierophant come up. And if you're not familiar with the Hierophant and what the Hierophant means and so on, you might want to go back and take a look at your last video because I do go into a lot of detail about Hierophant work and what exactly it involves. And if I'm being perfectly honest, after having worked as a psychic and a tarot reader for almost 20 years, I can tell you that Hierophant work is probably one of the pieces of the puzzle that allows us to grow in larger leaps and bounds than any other work that we do. So you might want to take a look at last month's video. Let's dive right in. The first cards we're going to pick for you, I do have all my cards over here. They're on my left-hand side. Normally I put things on my right side as it's my receiving hand. It is what it is. Roll with it. Okay. Where are you at now, Cancer? What's going on in your world as I do this reading for you at the end of February? I'm going to have to pick that card up that flew off. It's on the floor. All right, Cancer. Anything else going on for the Cancers at this time? Anything else? Yep, there's another one and another one. Okay, so we do have 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So the first card that came out for you is the Ten of Wands. The Ten of Wands is a card that it speaks to feeling like we are burdened, feeling like we are having to carry too much on our back. You'll notice here the character has his arms wrapped around 10 wands, and he is actually in the process of trying to carry those wands up a hill. It feels like life is a struggle. The very next card that we have is the Two of Wands. Interesting. You've got 3 cards. They jumped out from all different areas of the deck, but all 3 cards that have come out for you, Cancer, are from the suit of Wands. Really interesting. So, the first card that you have, like I said, is the Ten of Wands. The Ten of Wands speaks to feeling like life is a little bit of a burden right now, like it's an uphill climb. Some people sometimes think that this card is kind of like a juggling card, like you've got too many balls up in the air and you're trying to keep too many things aloft at this time. So, yeah, that is the energy that you have sort of coming into the beginning of March, which brings me to the very next card that came out for you, which is the Two of Wands. Now, the Two of Wands speaks to needing to make a decision and then take some kind of action. I do want to go backwards just a moment with this Ten of Wands. The Ten of Wands, all of the wands, are ruled by the element of fire. And when I was learning the tarot years and years ago, I was having trouble trying to remember what each of the elements associated to which suit, and I was getting myself all mixed up. And when I finally managed to associate the element with the right suit in the tarot, then I would get it all mixed up. Well, what does this element mean? What does that one mean? I was very naive when I first started learning the tarot. And one of my teachers said to me, the element of fire will cause you to want to move. If somebody lights a fire under your behind, you are going to want to take action. So when the suit of wands comes up, which is ruled by the element of fire, it is about taking action, which means that if you have the Ten of Wands coming in, the Ten of Wands, like I said, it's feeling like you're overwhelmed, but perhaps one of the reasons that you're feeling like you're overwhelmed and burdened and you've got too much on your plate is because you haven't been taking the action necessary in order to get those things wiped off your plate. And it's one of those things, this is what's coming in for me and why I wanted to go backwards. It's coming in for me psychically or intuitively is a lot of the times when we're feeling like we are overwhelmed, when we're feeling like we have way too much on our plates, it's because um, we've procrastinated or we've scrolled or we've done way too much wasting of our time. And I'm just playing with my lighting a little bit. Yeah. Um, So, yeah. So, Cancer, just be careful of that as you move out of the month of February and into the month of March. Just be aware that you may be in a situation where the reason you're feeling like you're overwhelmed and burdened. I'm knocking things over left, right, and center. This is ridiculous. The reason that you may feel like you're overwhelmed and burdened is because you may have been procrastinating, you may have been putting things on the back burner, you may have been saying, do it tomorrow, I'll do it tomorrow. And then the tomorrows pile up. So watch for that. That just came in intuitively. That leads me to the Two of Wands. And the Two of Wands is a card of decisions. You have a decision that you need to make. But more importantly, once you make that decision, you have the necessity to take action on that decision. It's not just about making a decision and going, "It's okay, I've made a decision, all good." No, you're going to have to actually take action at some point in time. Taking action with this Two of Wands, like I said, it's ruled by the element of fire. Make a decision and then act as if somebody has lit a fire underneath you and you need to move. Two of Wands. Which brings me to the Queen of Wands, the very next card in your draw here. And the Queen of Wands, again, Queen of Fire, she is about action, she is about passion, she is about, doing. And she is a natural born leader, as are all of the court cards. And the but she is also, out of all of the queens, the most intuitive queen. She is the queen that is probably most closely associated to witchcraft in the deck. Now, there are some cards in the major arcana that may be also associated to witchcraft, but out of the four queens, this one is associated with witchcraft and intuition, and here's why. Take a look at the card. She is the only queen that has a cat. She has a cat, and it's a black cat. and it sits at her feet, almost as if it were a familiar awaiting to do her bidding. Okay. So with that, these three cards together for you, Cancer, are about making sure you're not procrastinating so that you don't feel like you're overburdened. And it may be that you are procrastinating making a decision with this Two of Wands. And if you're procrastinating making a decision, it's making you feel like you are overburdened. But then once you actually make the decision, you're going to move into a place of deeper intuition, deeper insights. You're going to be very passionate and you're going to move forward with this Queen here. What are you actually focusing on? What are you putting your attention on in order to be able to move forward? Oh, are you kidding me? Cancer, the first card to pop out for what you're focusing on is the Ten of Wands. I can't make this up. This is about you being burdened. You feel like you are carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders at this time. And unfortunately, as we know, our thoughts create our reality. So these next cards that I've pulled out for you, or that actually jumped out, are about what you're focusing on. What are you thinking about in as you move into the beginning part of March? Well, what you are thinking about is how overburdened you are. And if you're thinking about how overburdened you are, then you are creating more overburden for yourself because our thoughts create our reality. If we're going, oh my God, I feel so overwhelmed. Oh my God, I don't know how I'm going to get through this. Oh my God, I have so much to do. If you're doing that, then the universe goes, oh, she's got way too much to do. Let's give her some more because she's excited about it, because her energy is up, because she's overburdened. Okay. Find a way to bring yourself down a couple of notches, even if you're feeling overburdened. But yeah, having the 10 of Wands come out twice in the first couple of cards of your reading. And again, the 10 of Wands was the first card that came out for where you're at now. And the 10 of Wands was the first card that came out for what you are focusing on. So clearly at this time, Cancer, you are yeah, I mean, even with you can tell even almost my own energy because I'm absorbing your energy. I do channel while I'm doing these. I'm picking up your energy. Let's bring it down. Now, it's interesting that in your where you're at now, you had the 10 of Wands and you also had the Queen of Wands. In this particular draw, you have the 10 of Wands and then you have the Queen of Cups coming out right next to the 10. Now, the Queen of Cups is a more calm queen than the Queen of Wands. The Queen of Cups is a more emotional queen. She sinks deeply into her emotional and her heart center, and she makes decisions from this place. Again, she is passionate. She gets what she wants, but she does it from a very different place than this queen. This queen comes from intuition and action. This queen comes from the heart and from emotions. So I also want to point out here, Cancer, that you have two queens coming in, which means there's feminine energy abounding right now. Feminine energy is coming from a place of compassion and empathy, which brings me to the next card that you are focusing on, and that is the Six of Pentacles. The Six of Pentacles is the card that I like to call the philanthropic card or the karma card. This is the card of if you have extra to give, then give. If you don't have enough, then ask for help. It is the philanthropic card because if you are in a position to be able to give more time, more money, more items to the food bank, whatever the case may be, to lend a helping hand to your neighbor who's having trouble getting out there and mowing his lawn because he just had some surgery on his foot. Whatever the case may be, if you have an abundance, get out there and give. And if you don't and you require help, then ask. That's what you're concentrating on. That's what you're focusing on. Now, Cancers, given the fact that you have the 10 of Wands twice so far in your reading, I'm going to say that this Six of Pentacles is about you asking for help, potentially partnering with someone at this time in order to be able to get some of this swept off your plate. The thing is that people may be resentful of you and coming to have to help you if they realize that the reason that you have this 10 of Wands coming in twice is because you spent too much time scrolling. So just be aware of the downside of that. If you are legitimately in a situation where you have way too much on your plate, things have started to pile up, and it's not because you've been scrolling or watching Netflix or whatever, then by all means, reach out and ask for help. It's about karma. This is my karma card. All right, let's move into difficult influences for you. I'm getting called over here to the Osho Zen. And if anyone is curious about any of the decks that I use, no, there are no affiliate links or anything else, but I'd be happy to share the names of the decks that I use. All right, difficult influences for Cancer at this time. All right, we do have two cards. One is the Eight of Pentacles, and the other one is on the floor. Participation. And I do want to point out that the participation card is the Four of Wands. So you have yet another wand in your reading, which is an indication you've got a lot of fire energy right now. You've got a lot asking you to take action right now. So you have the participation card in your difficult influences and challenges. This card is indicating that what I was picking up earlier was in fact correct with regards to this 10 of Wands. The reason that you have the 10 of Wands coming in is because you're not getting out there and actually participating and doing and doing and doing and doing. Instead, you're going, I can do that tomorrow. I can procrastinate. Yeah, I'm not going to take nah, tomorrow. Mañana, mañana. That's what's got you into this situation of having these two 10 of Wands here, Cancer. So take action, get out there, participate. And you have the ordinariness card. Now we're going to get into the real meat of it. Part of the reason that you're not out there participating and the reason that things are beginning to pile up is because you feel like your life is too normal, too ordinary, too blah. And when life is too blah and it's not exciting and it's routine, a lot of us procrastinate and we scroll because we're looking for fresh new excitement. And Cancer, you have new excitement. With these two queens here, with the two of wands here, with all of these wands coming out, with all of this fire and energy coming out, you have this, and yet you're looking at it going, oh, my life is ordinary. I'll do it tomorrow. Yeah, it's just regular. Whatever. Okay. The ordinariness card coming up in your difficult influences is you bumping into routine, you bumping into normalness, and viewing that as not requiring your action. All these wands are saying you need to be taking action. And you're looking at, nah, my life's ordinary. Mañana, tomorrow, whatever. Okay. This is a mindset. And when you escape from this mindset with all of these wands here, all of this fire here, your life's going to kind of skip. So think about it. Okay, I'm getting this image. I'm getting this image coming in for you, Cancer. Think about when you were a child, and you may even still do it as an adult, and you go out to a body of water and you pick up a nice flat stone and you skip that stone. And the first couple of skips across the water, there's these big lengths of time in between. And then as it's coming to the end, it all of a sudden, it seems to almost speed up because it skips across the water really, really quickly. And all of a sudden, a whole bunch of stuff happens with that little rock. Okay. That's what I think is happening for you right now, Cancer, is it's like skipping a stone where you skip it and it does this first little hop, and that's where you're at with your life. And it's ordinary and you're just letting things pile up and you're like, there we go. There we go. Okay. But as you allow the energy of the wands, the energy of the fire to come in, the energy of taking action, making this decision and moving forward, as that begins to happen, all of a sudden there's going to be another thing happen, another thing happen, another thing happen, and it's going to be a good thing. I'm not saying this is a bad thing. This is good. You got to get things in this forward motion at this time. Messages the universe wants you to hear at this time. Messages the universe wants Cancer to hear at this time. And that one, I don't even know where that one went. Went so far. Oh, geez. All right. Wow. There's a lot of messages here. Where did that one go? Okay. Okay, first message. Calm is not a weakness. No, calm is not a weakness if you are using your calm moments for the purposes of expanding your horizons. Calm is not a weakness. Message from the universe. Everyone has value. Know your truth. Be of service. And practice moderation. Lay off the scrolling and the YouTube and the Netflix. All right, what is coming up for unexpected? Unexpected for Cancer. Unexpected. Oh, yay, we have a card that did not land on the floor for you, Cancer. Unexpected for Cancer. All right. All right, so we do have one more card that's stuck out of the deck for us. The first card that jumped out, did not land on the floor, is the Princess of Winter, also known as the Page of Swords. And this is a card. All right. What I've been saying to you about the possibility that you have been procrastinating that has caused this 10 of wands and this feeling of being burdened to come in, and you're now in a position where you're needing to ask for some help and assistance to get out of this burdensome situation. And you may have ended up in this situation as a direct result of just saying, my life is too ordinary. The Princess of Winter, or the Page of Swords, is about information coming into you that you need to hear, not that you want to hear. And there's a good possibility, unfortunately, and I'm hoping this doesn't happen, but it does happen sometimes with my videos because I'm straightforward and I'm not sugarcoating stuff for people because life is not sugarcoated. A lot of the Cancers probably turned this video off a long time ago because they didn't want to hear the message. And they probably missed the analogy about the fact that once they begin to make these decisions, their life is going to speed up and it's going to be beautiful and it's going to be great. And they probably missed that. So for those of you who are still watching, you probably didn't want to hear this message, and yet it was something that you needed to hear. You needed to hear the message of stop scrolling and get on with your life. And you've got a whole bunch of fire energy here, which is the energy of moving forward. It's the energy of taking action so that your life is no longer ordinary. And you have the Princess of Autumn. And it's interesting that you got two princesses coming out, two pages coming out. The other thing that I want to point out with the pages in the tarot is the page is a little bit naive. It's a younger knight. Um, and the page is a little bit more childlike in the way that they approach things. And that's why sometimes, too, when the Page of Swords comes out with this information that you need to hear, but you don't want to hear necessarily, it can come across and it can feel like sandpaper on your skin because it's delivered in a way that may rub you the wrong way because the person delivering it might be, I don't know, maybe not as empathetic as they could be and so on, or maybe not as mature as they could be in the language that they're using. Regardless, it's still something that you need to hear, Cancer. And this reading, I think, is something that you needed to hear, but you didn't necessarily want to hear. And then you have the Princess of Autumn, also known as the Page of Pentacles. Page of Pentacles, again, there's a little bit of naivety there. There's a little bit of procrastination in this page. This page needs a little shove to get going in the direction of making improvements on their career. Maybe that's the message that you need to hear, Cancer. You need a little shove in the right direction, and it's going to get you out of this slump that you feel like you're in. Final general overall outcome. Where are we going? We're going back over here to the Light Seer Tarot, and then I'm going to pull your yes, no cards for you. General overall outcome for Cancer. Okay, so we just have one card that's jumped out for you, Cancer. Let's take a quick look. Queen of Pentacles. You have 3 queens in your reading. Wow. You start out with the Queen of Wands. She is the queen of action. She is a very intuitive queen. You step into the energy of the Queen of Cups, which is what you are focusing on. You are focusing about being more heart-centered, more compassionate, more empathetic. And you end off your reading with this Queen of Pentacles. The Queen of Pentacles is the richest queen in the deck. She is the most generous queen in the deck, and she is the one who loves to have beauty and abundance around her, and she is the abundant queen. In other words, don't procrastinate anymore. Don't allow these 10 of Wands to build up, Cancer. Get off your butt, get moving. I know that's a message that you don't want to hear. Get out of this ordinariness, both with this Princess of Autumn moving into this Queen of Pentacles. There is abundance out there for you, but you're going to have to take some kind of action. All right, let's move into your yes, no question. Cancer. You may wish to close your eyes for this portion of the video. Ask your question several times in your mind or out loud, whatever you prefer. And we do have one card that's jumped out. So before I actually turn the card over, just ask your question 2 or 3 times, either quietly in your mind or out loud. And when you're ready, open your eyes and look at the screen. In response to your question, the answer is no. The answer is no. Okay, Cancers. Thank you so much for being here again this month. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you. I hope that this resonated. And if it did, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing. Help me to achieve that monetization, that level of satisfaction that YouTubers are really looking for. And as well, I would love it if you would give me the honor of doing your next reading for you in the middle of March. Take care, everyone.